up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are ready for today. We did have some earnings that we got through last night. They were hit or miss. And market is leaking a little bit further. So far this morning, tried to stage a little bit of recovery, but for right now, we do got support slightly below us. I don't know, days like this, I'm just glad I'm not trading alone. I'm glad I'm not trading alone. We got Albert in the house. We got Anna to keep me comfort. We got Bill. Good morning. We got Corey. Good morning to Corey M. Frank. We got in the house. We got Jason J. Jeff, Joe, JT, Lauren, Matt. Good morning to Matthew. We got Micus, Peter, Tim, Win. All my peeps out of YouTube land. We got Clarice. Leonard, good morning to you. All my lurkers in the background. It's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, like I said, we have support a little bit below us. It is a retest gap. 553 first level, and then 499.68 to the higher side. I'm looking at like 50502 would be an interesting retest spot if we come in slightly lower, probably 504.17. But I don't think anything about today is small. I think today could be a big day. I think we're kind of just waiting on the Fed to come in. I think most of this week we've been waiting. Even if we want to break this thing down, let's throw some levels on a 3 minute just to see where we got to and where we can get to. Out of the gate, I mean, there's a possibility. There's a possibility we just stay flat. There's a possibility we drop down for a little bit. We hang out at open, maybe try it sideways in there. We can get another pop, and then there's different levels. But at the end of the day, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, that's the only thing. Actually, that's the only thing that's going to affect the markets. Just the Fed right there. So we'll see. They come out at 2:30 today. We will probably get a reaction off that 10. Yeah, you're right, Jay. Off of 10 a.m. we got jobs. We got the JOLTS coming out. We got ISM. We did see a not mini. We had a pretty big dip yesterday from the hourly work schedule, or the hourly work pay. It came in slightly higher. Again, not a great sign for the Fed to start to lower rates. So the recent news, and I think that's going to put the market on edge for a little bit. The good news is I do think Jerome Powell, even with everything, he's not out there day trading that I know. I don't know that Jerome Powell's not day trading, but I don't live in his house, although that would get me some good inside information. Not that I want it. Not that I want it. I don't want any of that. But he's looking at a longer term, bigger picture. Obviously, the market reacts to just everything in a much smaller time frame. I don't think we get a rate hike today. I don't think we get a rate cut today. It would be wild if we do, because I don't think the market's pricing any of that in. But it's more of his forward-looking statements, and I think we get the same Jerome Powell just because I don't think he has to move. I don't think he has to make a real put myself under the bus today and then back myself into a corner. He's been pretty good at, I mean, even all through 2020, 2021, 2022. He's been pretty good at kind of leaving the options open for him. I think we see the same Jerome Powell today. And then it's just how the market wants to interpret it. But those are the key levels that I'll be looking for the SPY. And again, I will probably get some chop, and the 10 a.m. number. ISM might move the markets a little bit. I think more so the JOLTS, just going off of the previous hourly wage report that came out yesterday morning. So we'll see. But it is a retest gap. We do have some levels of support. It would be, I think, in the market's best interest to try to keep everything in this zone prior to Jerome Powell, so we could get some chop out of the gate. And then after, no matter what levels are setting up, if Jerome Powell goes off script, if Jerome Powell does something crazy, that's where our big move today will come in. And we'll see. We'll see how it wants to play out. But usually Jerome Powell days are fun, and you will get some decent momentum swings, probably in both directions. So you could probably almost play it some calls, some puts, and take advantage of probably the big swings that we get later today. But today should be setting up for a pretty fun day. We got Qs. Again, a little bit of a gap down on Qs. We got some support pretty far away. 420, 420.98. Still hanging out in this little bit of an uptrend. SPY was a little different. SPY, we were actually gapping slightly below it, which is not great. But Q still holding it together for now. 421. Well, yeah, about 421, 420.98, somewhere in that zone would be the spot. If we start to break down that, we got 419.68. If it really starts looking ugly, we can see 415.79 today. Otherwise, unfortunately, we built some resistance above us too. 424.59 and 427.58. I think most of the month, like if we get a big candle today, most of the month might be just playing off of what happens today. So be very, very cautious, very, very careful of the timing of when you want to take trades today. It is the first of the month, so everything gets reset today. Just keep in mind that there's 31 days left in May, so we don't have to get too crazy. We can let things kind of play out. If we see a good setup, we'll take it. But we don't have to feel like we have to, just because it's day one, we got to try to make all of our cash. We could plan it out a little bit. We got TLT. All right. This one we got a gap and go to the bull side. Still inside day. We got some decent support below us. I don't really want to see 88.26 break. But again, probably some chop on TLT until we get more indication from Jerome Rome. Win, don't push it. Win, don't push it. It's crazy that next month is June already. According to the calendar, it is. According to the calendar, but yeah, that's wild. But let's calm down. We still got the full month of May. We got to get through. I don't want to rush it yet. Peter says, "Good afternoon from EU, aka DK. Obviously stands for Donkey Kong. We got Donkey Kong trading. That's awesome. We got AMD and Nvidia. So, and we'll add some SMCI to the list as well. Take off some of these. The District of Columbia with the K. Yeah. No, all right. That's it. AMD, a little bit of a gap down. Denmark, a mini put compared to USA. No, but the real question is, do you guys have Donkey Kong in Denmark though? You do have Donkey Kong, right? Otherwise, that reference just went right over your head. And then he's like, "Did he just call me a donkey?" Okay, all right. So they got Donkey Kong. So that's it. I can vibe with Denmark. That's it. No, we have RLT Denmark too. So we got a lot of people from Denmark actually. We got AMD, big gap down, decent earnings actually. It wasn't horrible. But we did see a decrease in revenue by 3.96 million. Earnings per share, we're slightly positive. Was not horrific on earnings, but again, there's still, if we're going back to like where this stock really matters, or where this move really started from, we started all the way at 55. Even at the opening price, it was still a lot. I thought this one could get a little bit more bounce on it, though. To be fair, I was like, all right, if they actually come in, surprise earnings, anything like that, fantastic. They're not at all-time highs where SMCI was a little bit closer to it. But in terms of gap down, does it make sense to go bearish today? I'd probably be looking for a fade on this one. So I got level of support right where we're at now. 149.72. The next one below us is 147.13. Let's see where we got to after hours. We got to 143.93. 143.93. Could that be just an interaction off that 200 on the daily? Maybe. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. Again, this, if I go bullish or bearish on anything, we do definitely, I think, have to be cautious of the 10 a.m. and then Jerome Powell. So would I set up any swings prior to Jerome Powell? No. I'd rather just wait. I'd rather just get the information and then make my plays afterwards. Nvidia. So Nvidia is gapping down as well, still kind of holding the support. Keep in mind, I think Nvidia is still best of breed. So that means as SMCI, AMD, other chips fall, I would expect them to fall the least, but still fall, which we kind of have. And if AMD and SMCI go crazy or they beat earnings yesterday, you probably get a pretty decent reaction out of Nvidia as well. So just not a lot of positivity from either SMCI or AMD yesterday. So we have again a little bit of a gap down. We are holding a little support, 849.03. This is a retest gap from yesterday. We're also right back to pretty much that last spot bulls did jump into. We're on the 20 for the daily, so that could be an interesting spot. I think there is a little bit more room on AMD if I was to play something for a fade. Otherwise, resistance comes in 870. So, okay, you got about $7 higher if we want to really come into that resistance. If you think you could break it, well, then I'd be curious to see 890. And we've already gotten there once, so maybe we get a little bit higher, 899.39, which would be a decent move. But for us to get to that price, that would have to be after Jerome Powell. And then to the lower side, we got a little support coming in around 840.36. I'd even go a little lower, 846.81, and then probably 826.71. So kind of smack in the middle. I think AMD will have a little bit more eyeballs on it today, but we'll get NVIDIA closer to the high of the list. SMCI. Wendy's got MSTR coin and SMCI. SMCI. So earnings on this one, again, not horrific. Definitely have to swing this one out of the park though. You got a beat by 15% earnings per share, so 15.76 on the revenue side of things. They still took in 3.85 billion, so it's not a bad quarter, but they did miss revenue by 106 million. These guys are gapping down. I probably just won't trade them. And I do also think if I had to choose, still NVIDIA, AMD, and SMCI. I do think AMD still looks like it has the best range on it. SMCI is opening it. Well, we'll see where it opens. We got another 16 minutes, but to the high side, if we get some kind of rally, 836.20. And then to the lower side, we're probably looking at 766.50 would be the first spot if we don't get a immediate bounce right here at open. And then 753.22. So chips are a little bit in limbo for me. A little bit in limbo. Wild move after hours though. Right as that earnings report was coming out. Yeah, a nice little jump up. We made it all the way up to 945. Sold all the way down really quick. Yeah, under 800. So that was a $150 swing almost. Came right back to break even. Melted all after hours. Pre-market, we've put in a little double bottom. We're at the 200 on the 3-minute chart. So we'll have to see if that could break. And then we got some of those things starting to line up. But this would be our first new higher high. We've kind of run up 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. At least see if there's a pullback to 775 minimum. But yeah, if you're going to try to get in this long, I would want some kind of a pullback first. I do still think AMD out of the three have the biggest potential for some kind of a rebound so far. So far. All right, let's take a look at Coin. Coin's got earnings coming out when? Tomorrow? Tomorrow after the bell, I think. Coin, I'm going to. I think Bitcoin got crushed yesterday. Let me just check Bitcoin first, and then we'll head back to this one. BTC USD. Yeah. So we Bitcoin we broke every level possible. I think I got one level 57.08 we're starting to get a little love from 57.08. The 200 moving average is down to 52.105. We do got pretty decent level of support over here. I only have really this one level and maybe one right below 53.7. So I think it's still got some room to the downside for Bitcoin for the balance. I'd be looking at least for that 200. Besides like a couple little levels for some mini bounces, I think ultimately we probably hit that 200. So that being said, what could save coin if Bitcoin comes down? And that would be the earnings and just expectations of, hey, going off the last quarter, which last quarter was decent. So maybe that revenue comes in, but then how do we look on guidance, right? The market's definitely moving on a little bit of what's the next? Thanks for my medicine, but what do you got for me next scenario? Otherwise, interesting spot for coin. This is a fade probably at open off the support. I'd want to see probably right where we're opening, but 198.43 hold. If that starts to fail, the next little spot would be 193.38. So I wouldn't mind looking for some kind of a fade longer here in bullish direction. MSTR. Again, huge holder of Bitcoin is going to move in the direction of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's down. We did see a little support on Bitcoin here. We saw it on Coinbase as well. We see it here as well. So I think a little bit of a initial fade by the dip on this one would make sense. There's not really a whole lot of volume to hold us up in the zone, just some mini spots. I don't really have a big well, the last hope on MicroStrategy 991.52. After we start losing that, I don't have anything really till 722, and I think there's a lot of risk to the downside. I think the risk you probably get more reward to the downside than risk to the higher side still. So I'd still want this one to kind of fall down a little bit, but at open, it is a little bit of a retest gap. Lauren says pins, Pins. Yeah, I think they reported. I didn't see anything about their earnings though. I wasn't watching them. I should have been. Earnings per share, they beat by 48%. And then on the revenue side of things, 39 million. Really nice earnings. Mm. Is this is also a gap and go. I might have to add this one to the number one spot for now. It is a pretty massive gap. The next little resistance could come in around 39.45, so we got a little upside. I'm looking for a high wave candle on this one. Give me like a red high wave candle. I want some kind of sell off on this, just to feel like I'm not buying it too high. But yeah, 39.45. If we could break and we go crazy, we're looking for $40.87. Finviz. I don't think Pins has a huge short float. 4.24, nothing too crazy. Let's see if we have, I mean, just a lot of bears on this one that probably are getting taken out. I'm gonna watch this one. I don't want to play it bearish, but I do want it to go bearish to some extent. There's going to be definitely some bears losing some money on this enormous gap. That might be my favorite one so far. I'm gonna keep that one on the list. We're gonna watch that one. That is, yeah, Win says it's a heck of a bullish gap and go. If you want to see something depressing, I hope you guys have your morning coffee. Probably not, or if you do, it's probably from Dunkin' Donuts because these guys got crushed. This one, and then I saw after the earnings came out, and I didn't even know this was happening. But is there like a protest against Starbucks? Are they somehow involved in the Middle East war? I don't know if they had, if they are, I missed the whole thing. But I saw like some people like, oh, that's why, that's right there why broke to woke. I don't know. I don't. I missed the whole Starbucks thing. So I don't know if there's a boycott on Starbucks. But this gap down, the earnings were actually really, really bad on this one. And this is probably one of the worst earnings I've seen from Starbucks in a long time. That being said, Starbucks and I looked at the dividends. It's only even with this gap down, it's probably almost 3%, probably like just under 3% of a divvy on this one. Earnings were not great. The one interesting thing though is we are starting to drop right into this volatility. Um, I've had a couple friends who long-term invest and they're like, hey, what do you think about Starbucks? It's down a lot. So I was looking at this one last night, and the fact that I was getting a whole bunch of messages as to people saying, you think I should build my Starbucks out? I'm like, I don't think it's a horrible opportunity. I don't think Starbucks goes anywhere. I think people who love Starbucks love Starbucks. I do think coffee is a drug. I love good drug stocks. But definitely into support. We got a lot of volume below us that might want to keep us up. We are slightly above that. So I think for the fade on this one would make sense. And I think there is some people who are looking to take advantage of this. So even though it's down a lot, earnings were not great. Is this the best spot? I don't think this is a horrible spot for at least starting to dollar cost into Starbucks. Harold says, any long plays on PayPal? I've been long on PayPal. I've been long. Um, so I'm in long on PayPal. I was getting in long down here. That being said, I don't know if I'm going to add positions here yet or not. If it comes back down more, then I'll start adding again, maybe around 64, 63. Earnings, nice little gap up. This was all a retest gap, and we're just hanging out in the range of 67.99 and 67.15. I think the next stop on PayPal is going to be closer to $77. All right, I think that will get us maybe slightly under. Maybe we get to 75. So I do think there's still some room in this one, but let's see if we could come down a little bit further. First spot to look for 66.86. And then maybe 65.93, just get in the zone. And then if we get any pullbacks into 63.47. But at this point, I did love it here. I still like it here. I got targets ultimately to about $90. So we got plenty of room on it. But the question is, do I just want to take a big chunk of change and put it into PayPal at these levels after we've kind of moved? The answer to that is no. But dollar cost average by small. That's kind of how I'm playing it. I do have some 2025 January calls on PayPal, so we'll see. But yeah, at this level, if it wants to, for me, since I've been building up, and I sold a couple right at open. I sold some calls, shares I'm fully holding. I still got a lot more calls to rock on with PayPal. If it does want to make the move, great. But if it wants to come back, I will be adding to the PayPal position as well. MA. Santillo says CGC, ACB. Santillo's all over those weed stocks. They all moved yesterday off of legislation, so which didn't even get passed, but the rumors again, I think, of it back on the table. MasterCard, that's a good retest gap today. A lot of retest gaps. A lot of retest gaps. You're kind of in no man's land on this one, though. So I would love to see a little bit further of a sell-off to 439.33. Not sure if we got there after hours. This is an earnings beat. So they came out 6 cents per share, and then we got 9.59 million. I don't love this spot just because my first resistance on this one is about 444.91. So I would like this one to come back down. So I wouldn't be jumping the gun to play this fade, but it is technically a retest gap. Get that one higher on the list too. Does insider news affect the price greatly? Depends on what the news is. Yep. I mean, you'll see a lot of times more again, depends on what the news is, but a lot of times it's short-term reactions. Yeah, a lot of short-term reactions. If it's like insider news of it also depends. Like, so if it's the CEO and he's leaving or he got booted from the company, a lot of times it's short-lived, but it depends on who the CEO is, right? An actual functioning company shouldn't rely solely, like they should be able to get the CEO out today and the company still runs as is, and then either he makes changes to destroy it at some point or builds it up. But a company should just run. If you got companies where you have Berkshire Hathaway, you got Warren Buffett, you got Elon Musk, even Tim Cook probably at this point. Well, Tim Cook could go probably either way, but more like Elon Musk. Yeah, I'll throw Tim Cook in there as well. But like the companies where like they got the CEO's got a fan base to them, and like the company is the CEO to some extent. Those are much little bit longer term moves. And then if CEOs or insiders or people on the board are buying, selling shares, that could skew positivity, negativity. If people like, oh, they're selling, I'm worried. I don't care so much because a lot of times the selling has to do with their compensation. So I would say the buying to me affects more than the selling portion of it. But you got Cloudflare, so that's a gap and go to the bullish direction. Still a whole heck of a lot of resistance up in here. Not a great close yesterday. So I was a little bit to the weaker close. I'd probably be looking more for just with that resistance, probably rather go short or remain short on this one for right now. Until you start to breach $90.52, then I think it's got a little bit of room to the higher side. But for me, yeah, inside day, not a lot of edge. DJT, Donald J. Trump. Trump, best stock ever. DJT, good gap up. This is a retest gap. Technicals don't matter on this one. So good gap up to $53. Next target to the higher side, 62. If you're going off technicals solely, I'd be waiting at least probably for the retest of like $50.19. But not a lot of fundamentals. Not a heck of a lot of fundamentals on this one. So just be careful. CGC, major move yesterday in everything weed stock. Just absolutely clobbered it with some news that came out. Again, legislate more of bills on the counter, bills being passed. And you probably will see. I think these things are heavily shorted. I wouldn't be surprised we get some kind of continuation, but wait, probably a few minutes, see if you get that pullback first. And then yeah, so if you want to ride the momentum, but it's up a lot from yesterday. But I think it's storage stock wise, it is there. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. You guys are absolutely incredible in YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Be careful. We got Jerome Powell coming out. We got other reports coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern, so in a short 30 minutes from now as well. But I think this day will set up the rest of May, so be on lookout. And we'll catch you guys later.